Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. I'm John Dickerson. It's been 1 week since Omar Mateen shot and killed 49 people and injured 53 more in a gay nightclub in Orlando. The largest mass shooting in U.S. history has sparked a heated political debate in America. We begin this morning with Donald Trump, who joins us by phone from New Jersey. Mr. Trump, in response to the Orlando shooting, you said it proved you were right about needing a temporary ban on Muslims. But as we've learned, the shooter here was an American citizen, so how would that have helped?
Well, first of all, there's a tremendous anxiety in our society, in our country right now, John, as to what's happening. And we just don't know what's happening. Our politicians have no clue. They've been weak, they've been ineffective, and you see what's going on. And second generation has proven that it's a very difficult thing. You look at the second generation statistics with radical Islamic terrorism, and it's a very dangerous thing that's going on. And we have somebody in this case, he was born in the country, but you also have that with the Boston bombers, and you have that with other instances of disasters that took place. And we have to be very careful. We have to be very, very, very vigilant.
So if this is a person who would not have been stopped by any kind of temporary ban, was born as an American citizen, what Donald Trump policy would have kept this from happening?
Well, we have to report. Look, the big thing that we're missing here is that people have to report when they see somebody. This man was pretty much unhinged. I mean, you look at his record, you look at what happened, and actually, I guess it was the gun store owner that did report, and he reported him when he went in to buy all sorts of body armor and other things. He reported him to the authorities and law enforcement, and very sadly, nothing was done.
But
it could have been prevented. He was excellent in what he did, but unfortunately, nobody took advantage of it.
But he was
John, when you look at people within the Muslim community and where people are living and they don't report, and a good example of that would be San Bernardino. I mean, they had bombs all over their apartment floor, and people saw it, and nobody reported them. And 14 people were killed, many injured.
So, but in this case, he was investigated twice by the FBI, was taken off a list. There was no red flag that suggested that he was going to go do this. So what was there to report?
Well, there were red flags. I mean, because when he walked in to buy all sorts of ammunition and all sorts of, I guess, body armor and other things, the owner of the store reported him.
Should somebody who
there
goes
were red flags. I mean, and you look at his past. I mean, I've never seen a past quite like that. You look at his record in school. You look at a lot of other things. I mean, there are a lot of red flags. This was not a very good young man.
Should somebody who goes in to buy that much ammunition get extra scrutiny?
Well, I think it depends. Everybody wants to be so politically correct, and they want to, do what's right, and they're afraid to do anything. And words that are killing us, political correctness. But, in this particular case, the owner of the store really did do an excellent job. He did what he had to do. Unfortunately, it wasn't followed up.
When you talk about political correctness, should a Muslim buying ammunition and weapons get extra scrutiny?
I don't know about that. I think right now we have some pretty big problems, and they're problems coming out of radical Islamic, the radical Islamic groups. You have a very, very strong group of people that is radical Islamic, and that seems to be a problem. I mean, look at the World Trade Center, look at Paris, look at San Bernardino, look at what happened over the weekend. It's a very, very sad situation. It's a shame to, take a group of people and put them under this pressure. I have many friends that are Muslim, and they're terrific people. I speak to them all the time, and they understand they have a problem. There's a radicalism that's absolutely a real problem for our country. And by the way, it's a problem worldwide. It's not just here. It's a problem worldwide.
But I'm trying to get a sense of what you would do about it. You said you would check respectfully the mosques. How do you respectfully check a mosque?
Well, you do as they used to do in New York prior to this mayor dismantling. I mean, we had a terrific group of people and a terrific system, and we were checking, and we were being careful, and we were being vigilant in New York. And it was dismantled by the current mayor, substantially dismantled, and a lot of people think that shouldn't have happened. But they were doing it, and they were doing it in a respectful way. And by the way, if you go to France right now, they're doing it in France. In fact, in some instances, they're closing down mosques. People don't want to talk about it. People aren't talking about it. But look at what they're doing in France. They're actually closing down mosques.
Can I ask you just a bottom line question before we move on? You like to speak plainly. In December, we talked and you said there possibly should be profiling. Just as a bottom line here, are you talking about increasing profiling of Muslims in America?
Well, I think profiling is something that we're going to have to start thinking about as a country, and other countries do it. And you look at Israel and you look at others, and they do it, and they do it successfully. And, I hate the concept of profiling, but we have to start using common sense, and we have to use our heads. Look what's going on with our country. Look what's going on in Germany. Look what's going on with other places throughout the world. So, we can say we don't want to profile. I see people that, and I've seen it recently. We had a case where, very much, in my case, where we had tremendous numbers of people coming into a speech I was making, and, people that obviously had no guns, had no weapons, had no anything, and they were going through screening, and they were going through the same scrutiny, the absolute same scrutiny as somebody else that looked like it could have been a possible person. So we really have to look at profiling. We have to look at it seriously. And other countries do it, and it's not the worst thing to do. I hate the concept of profiling, but we have to use common sense. We're not using common sense.
Let me ask you about the NRA's position on selling guns to people on the terror watch list or the no-fly list. What's the difference between your position and the NRA position?
Well, my position is I'm dealing with the NRA, and I have great respect for them, and Wayne and Chris and all of the people up there. These are great people. These are people that love their country incredibly, and I don't think they get enough credit for it. But I'm dealing with the NRA. As you know, they gave me their endorsement, one of the earliest endorsements they've ever given for a presidential candidate. I'm a member of the NRA. My two sons are members of the NRA for a long time, and I'm talking to them about the whole concept of terror watch list. Should we take somebody directly off if there is a terror watch list, and if somebody's on, should they be allowed to buy a gun? Now, we understand there are problems with that because some people are on the terror watch list that shouldn't be on. You understand that, and that's happened. Maybe you can reverse it, and we work very hard to find out if they can't get a gun. We work hard and diligently to get them off the list if they indeed shouldn't be on the list. So so I'm working with the NRA. We're discussing it. And, again, the NRA has the best interests of our country. It just has the absolute best interests of our country. They want to make the right decision. These are great people, and these are great Americans.
Let me switch to politics. You said to Republican leaders, don't talk, be quiet. Who was that directed towards?
Well, nobody in particular. And you have to understand, I have tremendous support. Including from congressmen and senators and governors. And you take a look at throughout the whole, Senator Sessions has been amazing, and I could name many, many congressmen that have been absolutely amazing and strong, and governors. And, I just left areas. We had a tremendous fundraising. I raised a lot of money for the Republican Party, a lot. Just over the last 3 or 4 days, you probably noticed I was all over the place. And we were in Texas, we were in Nevada, we were all over. And, I was in Arizona. We had a tremendous rally in Arizona, but we raised a lot of money in Arizona. And, there's been tremendous support. Unfortunately, the media just covers people that maybe are a little bit on the shaky side.
Well,
and all of a sudden it ends up being, as you call it, breaking news. But
Mr.
we
Trump,
we have had, John, tremendous support. And I'm not just talking about from the people. From the people, I've had record-setting support. I've had support from almost 14 million people and won the primaries with the highest vote ever gotten in the history of the Republican Party. It's been amazing.
These are not obscure figures, though. When you say Republican leaders don't talk, be quiet, I mean, certainly Paul Ryan has spoken out, Mitch McConnell. Those are not fringe figures. You said if they don't cooperate, you might go it alone. So it's not, this is you talking.
Well, my attitude on that, look, I won the primaries with the largest vote ever. I brought a lot of extra voters, a lot of voters, I guess up 70% or close to 70%. We brought additional people in that wouldn't have been in if I weren't doing this and if I weren't running. And if we weren't using common sense and all of the things that I say at rallies and on your show and elsewhere, I mean, I brought tremendous numbers, as you know, and I think you'll confirm that the difference between this year and 4 years ago is a tremendous, a record-setting increase. Okay, not only in the votes coming to me, but the votes coming to the party itself. And I would say this: if people, and especially where people endorse me, that are Republican leaders, I think that honestly they should go about their business and they should do a wonderful job and they should work on budgets and get the budgets down and get the military the kind of money they need and lots of other things. And they shouldn't be talking so much. They should go out and do their job. Let me do my job. I have tremendous support from both politicians and the people. Tremendous support. Unfortunately, the media just likes to cover really a small number of people that maybe have something to say. I think they should go about their work. Let me run for president. I think I'm going to do very well.
Okay, Mr. Trump, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you very much, John.